trying to convince myself that him playing his video games all the time and talking back, and it's all of his behavior stuff that I have a problem with is not my business. It's not my problem, and I need to stop acting like it is.
It's not your responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, we started off saying nacho kids, nacho problem. Then we're like, wait a minute. It can very well be your problem. It's they're not your responsibility.
You're listening to the Nacho Kids Podcast, where we discuss all things step family related. Real stories, real people, real help. Your hosts are the creators of the Nacho Kids Method and the Nacho Kids Academy Step Family Coaching Team, Lori and David Sims.
Today we have Stepmom May. Hey, Stepmom May. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. So tell us a little bit about your blend, your dynamics.
So I guess I'm not technically a stepmom. We're not married,
Mhm.
but we
That
live
doesn't matter.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a baby together. So I have two stepkids, a 13-year-old girl and a 10-year-old boy. And we have one ours baby who's 2,
How long have you been with your partner?
a little over 3 years.
Okay. Oh, so you got pregnant pretty quick.
Yes. 3 months in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay, so you meet this guy. He's got 2 kids. At the time, they're 7 and 10
Yeah.
around. Did you wanna be with somebody with kids, or it didn't even matter? It wasn't even a thought process?
I have a weird story actually. So I had not dated since I was 20, so 10 years. I chose to be single. I didn't want kids. I didn't want a husband. None of it.
Did
And
you have a
then
bad experience that made that happen?
no, my first and only boyfriend was great. Loved him. We were together 5 years, but then I just decided I wanted to be alone. and and then
You like yourself, that's a good thing.
yes, I like being alone. And then I met my partner now, and we just hit it off. We started dating. I didn't really want anything serious. I didn't want kids, any of that. And
Mhm.
then a happy accident came along, and we decided to try to make it work.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you knew him 3 months. So y'all went out how many times you think?
Oh, we had gone out a lot. We were together all the time. I had
Okay.
already met the kids. We really hit it off pretty good.
Yeah.
And I was already like stupidly helping him with the kids, and he had just moved, so I was like helping him figure out getting the kids to school and all of that. I was in his life fully at that point.
Yeah, you were his lifesaver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Backfires.
Wow. I'm still shocked by how quickly things move, but it's no different than somebody saying, "Oh, we were together for, you know, 2 weeks and got married or got into a relationship."
Yeah. Well,
So, how did you feel when you found out you were pregnant?
I'm confused mostly. I was excited because I don't know, I love babies. Didn't ever want one, but I love babies.
Mhm.
But I was also terrified to tell him because he was done having kids.
Oh,
I,
yeah, we already talked about that.
yes. And terrified, of course, to tell his kids and their mom.
Your mom?
My mom was the last person I told. And she is like, she never cusses. She never says anything bad. And when I told her I was pregnant, she was like, "Are you me?" And I was like, "Oh no."
You know it's bad when mama cusses.
Yeah. But I was mostly scared, but
Yeah,
excited too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how often did he have his kids when y'all first started dating?
So his wife left. She moved a state away and left the kids with him. And she just gets them when she wants them. So they don't have a court agreement, a custody agreement. Um, so some months she'll get them 2 weekends out of the month. Sometimes she'll go 3 or 4 months without getting them. It's just sometimes during the summer she'll get them for a whole month. Just kind of whenever it floats her boat.
How does that affect the kids? We know how it affects
Um,
the kids.
yeah, negatively.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 10-year-old boy has he lashes out at me a lot because he misses his mom.
Mhm.
and then he'll go and see her for a weekend. He comes back and he's a little better for a while. And the 13-year-old girl is starting to really take it out on her mom,
Oh,
thankfully, not on me.
yeah.
Like, but she told her mom the other day, her mom texted her and said, "I miss you." And she said, "No, if you did, you wouldn't live in South Carolina."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's really starting to.
Yeah, she's speaking her mind.
Yeah.
Well, she needs to get it out
I
if
agree.
that's how she feels, and not as long as she's not repeating what somebody else has said. Your mama doesn't
No.
love you because,
No.
yeah.
No. Everybody in her life besides her mom has really sheltered her from a lot of the stuff that's happened behind the scenes,
Mhm.
and we all try to encourage, like, positivity towards her mom, but she's like, "Nope, not having it."
I remember one time I was talking to a counselor, and we were just having a conversation, and I said about how I tried to encourage Jackson when he wanted to go to his dad's, or when he was supposed to go to his dad's. And I would say, "Oh, well, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna get to see your dad, da 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 da." And she told me, she said, "Stop making it sound like he's going to the circus, because he's not." She said,
Yeah.
"He doesn't wanna go. You're making it sound like it's gonna be the circus. He gets there, it's not. He's disappointed and unhappy."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Well, crap." So, I mean, I just had to go, "Well, buddy, you gotta go."
Yeah, I actually I try to validate her feelings about her mom without, stepping over the line and talking crap about her mom, which is
Right.
hard to do sometimes.
And it's hard to do because you wanna jump on that bandwagon and
Yeah.
say, "She is a piece of crap."
Yep.
And even though she lives in a different state, she could come see you at least twice a month, or I don't know if she has contact with them through, like, iPads or
The oldest has a cell phone and they text daily. They FaceTime usually daily, but the 10-year-old, currently she has not spoken to him since Christmas.
Why?
He doesn't have a cell phone and she doesn't want to call me or dad to talk to him. She doesn't think about him, honestly. I don't she doesn't
She's not
she
very motherly.
no. No, not at all. She doesn't remember she has a son most days, it feels like.
Wow.
Yeah. The stepdaughter told her a couple weeks ago that she wasn't coming this summer to visit, and their mom was like, "Okay, fine, I just won't come get you." And she's including her son in that, and I'm like, "He has done nothing. He has expressed no desire to stay here, to not come see you. Why are you lumping him in with her and just not getting him?" And then when they go there, it's all about the daughter. She takes her shopping, she takes her to the movies, and they just let him sit there and play his Xbox, and they don't do anything with them.
Does he care, or is it that you care?
I care. He thinks he's her favorite. He
Okay, then that's good.
Yes, and I
That's
try
good.
to let him continue to think that.
Yeah, because I know a lot of times I'll ask Jackson something and like, "Oh, does that hurt your feelings?" He's like, "Why would it?" And I say, "Because da da da." He's like, "Well, I never thought of it like that, but now that you made me think that way." I think a lot of
Yeah.
times we take it and we look at how we think they should feel, or how we think we would feel.
He's like, "Oh, I'm mom's favorite." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's awesome."
Yeah, yeah,
Just let him keep thinking it. He cares about his Xbox, so is if an adult lets him play his Xbox,
he
he
loves
loves you.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So, how do I mean, you're a full-time mom, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
So let's talk about the first couple years or after you moved in, because we gotta remember you moved in and what, 5, 6 months later had a baby?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I think it was 6 months.
So you're just getting adjusted to living there, and then you have a reset again when the baby comes.
Yeah. Honestly, when the baby came, it got a little better. It was hell being pregnant and dealing with, the boy, the younger one has he was told he has anger issues at a young age, so he's kind of gone with that, and he gets angry at everything and thinks he's just allowed to be angry because he has anger issues.
Oh, I hate
So,
that.
yeah, so that was tough, like, moving into that and trying to work around not knowing about Nacho and not knowing that I shouldn't treat him like he's my own kid, it was hell for the first few months.
Yeah, because of why? Why was it hell?
Because I was trying to parent him and
Yep.
he was having none of it.
Mhm.
Yep.
He
And
wanted
then
nothing to do with it.
no, he was very 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 much pushback. There was a lot of pushback from him for that. The girl fell right in line. She's like, "Yep, this is my new mom. Let me." She's still. I've tried to nacho her since I've learned about nachoing, and she won't
Mhm.
let me. The the amount of times I've told her, "Go ask your dad," and she's like, "I don't want to ask dad. You just answer it."
She's like, "No, I know about this nacho stuff you trying to do. I heard about it."
Yeah, she won't let me.
Mhm.
Yeah, but he's all
But y'all
for
have
it.
a good relationship, right? You and stepdaughter?
Yes. Yeah. A little bit of bickering here and there, but for the most part, we have a pretty great relationship.
Yep. And that's normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she starts bickering, say, "This is why I always tell you to go to your dad,
Yeah.
because I don't wanna
Go
argue
fight
with
with
you."
him.
Yeah. Now what about the stepson? Let's go back to him being told he had anger issues.
Oh, yeah.
So he uses that as an excuse. When
Mhm.
he would have, quote, quote, "episodes," whatever you wanna call it, would he be physical or just
N
verbal?
No, he's gotten physical with his sister, like, once, but that's typical sibling stuff to me. But he's never physical. He yells. He is an arguer. He better grow up to be a lawyer or something, put that to good use. He he will argue until you just give up because 'cause you're too tired to argue back.
Yep.
And he gets mad at the smallest things.
Yeah.
But it's not like I was listening to an episode of yours, the other day with the lady whose child has ODD.
Mhm.
It's not like that. He can control it when he's not with me or with he does the same thing with his mom. And what he controls it with his dad, he controls it with his teachers. It's not like it's a disorder, it's a choice.
What
Yeah.
about mom?
He No, he's pretty mean to her.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
So it's dad.
Yeah, dad's, he's
Dad knows he'll
really
tear his butt up, or he knows dad'll tear his butt up.
Yeah, and he is a daddy's boy. He adores his dad.
Mhm.
He during this, the Hurricane Helene stuff that happened, we actually sent them to go be with their mom for a month while we were trying to figure out things here,
Mhm.
and we went and visited him, like, 2 weeks into it, and he just burst out crying because he wanted his daddy so bad.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, he loves his daddy.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he probably feels like his dad's all he's got.
Yeah, I'm sure.
'Cause I have a feeling that even when mom was physically there, she wasn't present.
Yeah, I don't it sh the stories I hear, she mostly just laid in bed. I think she had PTSD after she had the boy and never got any help with it, and she's bipolar also, so on top of that, and she from what I understand, she just laid in bed all day and, like, told the kids to get her things, and she wasn't a very present mom.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah,
My sister was bipolar, so I understand that.
yeah,
It's hard, and it's hard not to think, how can you not think about your kid? How
yeah,
can you not get up out of the bed and fix them lunch? How can you not do these things? But, it's depression. It's not just bipolar disorder, it's a depression.
yeah, and she's chosen to be unmedicated for it,
Yeah.
so I don't blame her for her disorder, but I blame her for not getting help with it
Yeah. Yeah.
for her kids.
So you've seen stepson get aggravated with his dad, but he has a different reaction with his dad.
He can have the same like, his immediate reaction is always to get angry,
Mhm.
but he's just better about quickly jumping out of it with his dad. Like,
Okay.
if with me and from what I understand with his mom, he holds on to it for a while and he'll get upset and stay upset, but with his dad, he comes out of it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's where you can use your dad's gonna ask me blah, blah, blah. Don't make me tell him.
I've tried. He doesn't believe me. He he believes that everything wrong in this house is my fault. Um,
Oh, so you're still the target.
yes, 100%. I just recently started trying to nacho him, and I haven't joined the academy, so I don't fully understand how to nacho him yet, but I've tried just disengaging.
Mhm,
And even with that, the other day, his dad told him to go get in the shower,
mhm.
and it happened to be right when I walked inside the house when he said that, and he said, "You only want me to go take a shower because she's here." Like, "What? I just walked in the door. I don't even know what's going on."
Because dad wouldn't have made him get off the game to take a
Yep,
shower, but he knew that when you came in, you were gonna say, "Has little Johnny had a shower?"
yeah,
It's all your fault.
yep.
Well, I want to make sure that you know that nachoing is not just disengaging, usually the first step, but there's so many steps after that because just simply disengaging, it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna fix your problems. It'll feel like it does,
Yeah,
but it's gonna create more problems because you're not dealing with the problems.
yeah.
And really, a lot of people will post and say, "Oh, I nachoed this," but it's something they're mad about. Then you
Mhm.
didn't nacho it. Because not showing it's letting go of that emotion. I mean, you can still be not happy about it, but if you're complaining about it afterwards, then you didn't nacho it. You're still carrying it with you. It's a lot of self-development, which there's a lot of things that I had to change about myself
Yeah.
or look at differently was probably a better way to.
That's what I'm trying to do that now. I and by disengaging, I can't fully disengage with him because we have them full time,
Mhm,
and his dad is at work until 3:30, and he's an only child, and his dad is very reliant on him. So he's usually with his dad after work. So I'm always home alone with the kids.
mhm.
So if I completely disengaged from him, that would be crazy. But
But
I've disengaged from punishment,
yes.
from discipline. I do not tell him to get off of his games. I'm huge into like too much screen time,
Mhm.
which has been a big thing between me and the 10-year-old. And I've just stepped back from that. He was on his game for 12 hours last Saturday, but I was home alone with him and I wasn't going to tell him to get off. So
Now somebody listening to this is gonna go, "Oh my god, that is child abuse."
it's,
Where was dad?
his dad is currently in the hospital. So he was
Oh,
up at the hospital with him.
but dad knows that's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I told him, and he's told me, like, if you tell him to get off and he starts fighting you about it, just let him play till I get home.
Yeah.
So,
But I think that it's more proactive for you to say, "I'm not even gonna tell him," because you know he's not gonna get off, and you're still that creates that tension.
yeah.
Now, if your husband could call your phone and talk to stepson and say, "Hey, well, I need you to go get in the shower." So, we need to use the technology we have better to take this target off of your back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we gotta get that target off your back.
Yeah. It's I'm we're working towards it.
Yeah.
And it's hard too because a lot of the anger that should be directed at his mom, he directs towards me. I don't know why he thinks this, but he thinks I broke up his family.
Somebody's told him that.
I didn't come into the picture until they had been separated for 2 years.
Either somebody told him that or he looks at it as you're the reason they won't get back together.
And it is so strange because she actually cheated on him and left him for the new man, and they've been together ever since. And the kids don't know she cheated,
Right.
but they do know that this new man came in the picture right away.
Mhm.
And he does not blame him at all for them not being together or his mom not being around, but for some reason, me,
Yep.
I
We talk about this all the time, but we just talked about this the other day about how mom can be married 84 times, date 1,200 men. It doesn't matter. Dad gets married, and that's like just completely different. It's like it solidifies the fact that there will never be a family unit again.
yeah, it's so
Yeah,
strange.
it's weird.
Yeah. And I have to bite my tongue because sometimes he loves the, I'm gonna say stepdad, they're not married either, but he loves his stepdad, and sometimes I just wanna be like, "He's the reason."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah, no, no, no,
no.
because that would ruin his relationship with his stepdad. It changes,
Yeah,
yeah, and he's 10.
yeah,
He's 10. If he ever asks when he gets older and is an adult, say, "Hey, dad, why'd you and mom split up?" Then dad can decide if he wants to tell him.
yeah,
You know, I think it's important to tell kids the truth at appropriate ages.
yeah. Well, I think honestly his sister's gonna be the one that tells him because she figured it out for herself.
Oh, yep, she's
Yep.
gonna tell. She gonna
Yeah.
tell.
She surprised the crap out of me a couple of years ago. She was probably 11, and, I worked at a summer camp that so that they could be with me during the day that summer, and we were riding the bus going on a field trip with the summer camp, and she just out of nowhere was like, "My mom cheated on dad with blah blah blah," and I was like, who said that?" And she was like, "I just figured it out.
Okay. Yep.
I didn't confirm it. I didn't deny it. I just said, "Oh, okay."
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's, David even talked about one time they asked people after September 11th, like a year later or something, where they were. And the people would say, "I was wherever." 5, 10 years later, they asked them again, and their answers were completely different.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd remember perfectly where
I
you
I
were.
feel I remember exactly where I was. No
Yeah, me
doubt.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that even amazed me even more because I remember everything about that morning.
But do you?
Yeah, exactly.
They
I don't
probably
know.
think they do too.
I think I'm talking to you. Am I even talking to you, babe?
Who knows?
Are you even a stepmom?
Nope.
Well, really you are. I was saying that because you're not
I
married,
know.
but you have to remember about looking at stuff from the kid's perspective.
Yeah.
And I remember being so aggravated and so caught up in my own hurt and pain and all that crap that was going on. I didn't think twice about those kids. When I say that, it not in a hateful way. It was just I was so consumed.
Yeah.
You don't think, oh, well, these kids are struggling too.
And it's this is probably showing my selfishness, but a lot of times I feel like these kids have so many people that care about how they're feeling and how they're processing and what's gone wrong in their life. And literally no one cares that I'm struggling as a stepmom. Like
Mhm.
it's almost a little bit of like they've got enough people caring about how they're feeling. But I try to talk myself out of out of those thoughts when I get real
Enough
angry and I
people care
start
about
feeling
how they
that way.
feel. I ain't worrying about that. But no, you do understand that your thought process of what they're going through helps you to not be so reactive to things that
Yes.
happen.
Yeah. Sometimes I just get real angry though, and I'm like, I don't want to care.
Well, all those people that care so much, can they help you with them?
Um,
"Hey,
um,
grandma, wanna go hang out with grandma?"
well, okay.
Uh-oh, there's more.
Oh yes. So strangely enough, I have a very good relationship with their mom's mom.
Okay.
She is very, very sweet. She'll take them anytime I ask her to. And she even told me, I think it was maybe a year ago, I was picking the kids up from her house and she was like, "I'm so glad you came along." The little boy was cussing her up and down before I came into the picture
Uh-uh.
and taught him what manners were.
Right.
And and she was like, I'm so glad. It's so good for them." And she's just so sweet. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, she just recently moved closer to us. She did live hours away. She's best friends with their mom.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, and, they're the same person. I tell my boyfriend all the time, "You married your mom."
Oh, Lord.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Down to the T. They both left their kids when they were around 8 years old. They both cheated and moved away to be with the new man. They both have the same personality. It's scary, the similarities between them.
Wow.
Yeah, and,
Well, no reason they get they're friends.
yeah, yeah, and she will take the kids, but she's just like their mom, where she would prefer to just take the girl. She doesn't really want to have to deal with the boy very often.
Yeah. Or the fact that maybe it's 2 could be daunting sometimes.
No, if she's gonna take the boy, she will always take the girl.
Oh.
But for the most part, she just wants the girl to come.
Well, honestly, it's probably because he's cussed everybody out and they haven't gotten over that or let it go.
Yeah.
And they've still got triggers when they see him. They're like, oh, I remember little Johnny, flipping me off and calling me every name in the book.
Yeah. You're giving her more benefit than I would. She she I've heard you talk about your I think it was your grandma that would buy your sister stuff and take your
Yes,
sister
my
places and
Nana,
yeah,
mean
and
old Nana.
that's how she is. She got the oldest probably $200 worth of Christmas presents. She got him a pair of like a Nike outfit, and that was it. And yeah. She's very I don't like to send the kids to her because she's just not a good role
Then
model for
don't.
them.
Yep, then don't.
Yeah.
Then she's not an option.
Yeah, they know all about her affairs she's had. She's not a good role model for young kids, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so she's out.
Yeah.
But you got
She's
bio mom's mom, so that's good.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you get a break sometimes.
Yes, and their grandpa who's in the hospital, he's currently not in the best health to watch them, but he does love to take them when he can.
Mhm.
So, my mother-in-law, we had told her not even me, my boyfriend had told her that my stepdaughter is not allowed to have cell phones. She had gotten in trouble twice on her cell phone, and then that got taken, and then she got in trouble on somebody else's cell phone. And he was like, "No more. She can't get on anyone else's. She can't have one." So my mother-in-law bought her a cell phone for Christmas and helped her hide it from us for oh, I mean, I think I found out about it like 15 days later, but she was helping her hide it from us.
Oh,
And
gosh, that's so wrong.
yes, yes, which is why I have put down the rule that she will not have my kid by herself. Can't trust her. And I came in stepdaughter's room one day and I was like, "Do you have a cell phone?" And she was like, "No." And I said, okay," because she had asked me a question that just for some reason it made me feel like she had just recently talked to her mom and she hadn't borrowed my phone to talk to her mom. So I was like, "I think she has a cell phone." Then I text her dad and I was like, "Hey, I think she has a cell phone." And I asked her about it again a little later in the day and she said no. And then he came home and asked her about it. And apparently, she told him, "Yeah, I do have a cell phone." She showed it to him, told him who got it for her.
Mhm.
They left me in the dark about this. I thought she didn't have a cell phone. He did not come tell me that, yes, she did. And we were in the car like 3 or 4 nights later to go to dinner, and I heard a cell phone ding, and I was like, "Honey, was that yours?" And the stepdaughter goes, "No, that's mine." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I this is me and my boyfriend do not fight. We've had 2 fights in our whole
And it's
relationship.
been about the kids or bio mom.
Just the kids, not
Mhm.
bio mom. The first one was his son peed in our kitchen trash can, and I got so mad. So mad. And and then he took that as I didn't love his kids, and I thought that they were filthy and blah blah blah. And I was like, we got into a fight about that. And then the second one was I felt like him, his ex-wife, and his mom were all helping his stepdaughter keep a secret from me.
Yes.
And like, why? I have no skin in this game. Why? I just felt so betrayed in that moment.
Yeah. I would have
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it was
But
not
so did she get to keep the phone?
she did, and she has thankfully in this last year, really shown that she's a lot more responsible than she used to be. So I'm fine with her having the phone, and he's fine with her having the phone. I'm not fine with how she got the phone.
Yeah. Well, he didn't really lie to you. He just didn't
No,
tell
he
you.
just forgot to tell me.
Yeah. Did he forget?
For
Did he?
forget.
Yeah.
No, I do believe he forgot to tell me. He's very forgetful. But
Yeah.
it made me feel like they were all conspiring.
Mhm, and it's
Mhm.
easy to feel that way as a stepmom
Yeah.
because you're the target.
Yep.
Everything that's changed since you've moved in that is not positive in those kids' eyes is your fault.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
Yeah.
he'll feel better soon
Yeah, hopefully.
because it is important that you get a break.
Yeah.
And with your husband, if he works during the week, Monday through Friday, if you haven't, talk to him about that and say, I'm not saying you got to take them out of here, but on the weekends, I really need you to take care of everything. It's like our dogs. I can't get crap done because they ring that bell all day long.
I've talked to him a little bit about that. I feel bad because I'm a stay-at-home mom
Mhm.
and he's, working all the time. And then he's got his dad pulling him in one direction to come help him and so I do feel bad asking him to do that, but occasionally I will be like, "Okay, I need you to take all the kids and I will go somewhere because I don't want to be home because then I'll clean and I don't want to
Yep,
clean.
yep.
I want to go away for a little while."
You need a break, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, could his son go with him to see his dad when his dad's feeling better and he goes hangs out with his dad?
Yeah. Now his son does go over to his papa's quite a bit when he's feeling better.
Good.
Uh it's been a while cuz his house got destroyed from the hurricane.
Oh, no.
So he's been living in a hotel for a little bit. But yes, when we have the house back together and he's living there again, the youngest goes over there quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Is your or your partner's parents
They get along in front of the kids and that's about it.
that's what matters. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
You're not so
they
sure about that now?
they get along together if they have to be together in front of the kids, but they both do still talk crap about the other one to the kids, which I hate
Okay.
that.
So the kids will know that they're two-faced.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Okay,
I
okay.
tell the kids, like, that's not normal. That's not how people should be. That's not how adults in your life should represent themselves to you.
Mm-mm.
And when your papa says this about your mamaw, he is trying to make you love him more than you love her, and the same for her. And that's I just want y'all to know that that's not normal and it's not right.
Mhm.
And I don't want you to grow up and do the same things.
Right. Yeah.
So they're aware of it.
Mhm. Well, it's a competition.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
much. And
Yeah.
and since their mamaw has moved closer, it's amped up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because before it was like she lived 6 hours away, and there wasn't. He lives 10 minutes down the road, so he got him all the time. But now she's closer, and he feels threatened. And ugh.
Oh, wow. So they're real close to each other, kinda like on the other side of the Dollar General?
Oh gosh, no. Thankfully, they've still got 45 minutes between each other,
Yeah.
but too close for their comfort.
Oh, yeah.
Still,
I'm sure, which is sad for
yeah,
your husband too.
yeah.
Yeah. So he was
Well,
he was a child of divorce.
yeah. And he was raised by his dad and his mamaw, and for the most part, his mom got him during summers and here and there. She lived 6 hours away, so she didn't get him, as much as she should have. Um, so told me one time, like, when my mamaw died is when my mom died. Like, he doesn't have a
Yeah.
very parental relationship with his mom.
Yeah. Like your stepkids are gonna have. They're not gonna have a
Yeah,
good yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So what do you think you are struggling with most right now?
Oh, right now, probably trying to get in a place with the 10-year-old where we can be in the same room and not bicker
Mhm.
and fight and I don't get annoyed at every little thing he does.
Mhm.
And trying to convince myself that him playing his video games all the time and talking back and it's all of his behavior stuff that I have a problem with is not my business. It's not my problem and I need to stop acting like it is.
It's not your responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we started off saying not your kids, not your problem. Then we're like, wait a minute, it can very well be your problem. they're not your responsibility. I do wanna say, though, because you mentioned a minute ago about, you feel bad asking your husband to help because you're a stay-at-home mom, and do you also feel bad about how you feel about your stepkid?
Yeah, I I don't know. I go back and forth because I adore him. He's
Mhm.
so cute. So sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I love this little boy." And then other times I'm like, "Oh man, he's nobody would ever call him cute if they could see how he's acting right now."
Yep.
But so I do feel bad a little bit when I have thoughts like that, but I probably don't feel as bad as I should. I'm still in the thick of it.
Okay, well, don't beat yourself up about not feeling as bad as you think you should. Well, I was gonna say that don't feel guilty for telling your husband you need a break because that is helping your relationship with him. That is helping your sanity. And also, they're his kids,
Yeah.
and your time is just as valuable as his time. But those kids need him to be a dad when he's present. You're
Yeah,
with them all day long. Yeah, he works, but being a stay-at-home mom's a lot darn harder, I think, than any job I've ever had for sure, 100%.
I agree.
And so don't, underestimate what you contribute by being a stay-at-home mom because you take everything off his plate.
Yeah.
Then when he comes home, he should be dad. He should be the parent.
Yeah.
That's what they need him to be. And that's what you need him to be. And that's what he needs to be. He may not know it, but that's what he needs to be to build that stronger relationship with those kids.
Yeah, he doesn't have he has good follow through, he doesn't have good extended follow through.
That's okay, then he needs to shorten.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've heard y'all say that, and I'm like, "Oh, that is a good idea." He
Yep.
needs to be like, "I'm gonna take it for 2 hours because
Yeah. I'm gonna
that's
take
the
it for
most I can
17
handle."
minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And then be like, next time's 18.
I've heard David say that he just expected you like, he thought he was marrying a new wife and a
Mhm.
new mom,
Mhm.
and I feel like that's how my boyfriend views it, and I'm trying to change his thinking on that,
Yeah.
like, I'm not a new mom because he says stuff like, "Oh, you love them just like, your own kids. You're basically their mom. She
And
does not." And I'm
can I talk to him?
right? Please. And he has stopped saying that because a few months ago, his daughter actually asked me, "Do you?" I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but it was basically like, "Do you love your son more than you love us?" And I said, "100%, yes." And she was like, "What?" And her dad was there, and I said, "Yeah, he's mine. He's my flesh and blood. I gave birth to him.
I carried him
I
in my
just met
belly.
y'all 3
Yeah.
years ago." And, and I was like, "Do you feel like you love me as much as you love your mom and dad?" And she was like, "Well, no." And I said, "Okay." So, and he heard that
Right.
conversation. So, he's kinda I think he listened to that and he has stopped saying that particular phrase to me.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked stepdaughter that and didn't just leave it because I think it was important for her to go, wait a minute. I don't love her like I do my mom. Why should she love me like she does her kid?
Yeah.
David asked his kids, and I asked Jackson, how would you feel if we loved the stepkids as much as we loved you? And they're like, you're my dad. You got to love me more than you love him, or you're my mom. I'm part of you.
Listening to your podcast and hearing about all of the stuff that comes up with like an ours baby as they hit 3 and 4 and like I'm I'm not prepared for him asking like, "Well, why can't I go to their mom's house with them?
Uh huh.
And why don't I get all these things? Why don't I have 2 houses?"
Uh huh.
I'm not prepared.
Yep. Well, you better prepare because it's going to
Yeah.
happen. And it's
Yeah.
better that you prepare now instead of in the moment.
Yeah. Get my answers ready.
Yeah. I know Jackson wanted to go with the brothers, and he's like, why can't I go? I'm like, go where? And they're like, with the brothers to their moms. And I was like, uh, And I'm like, "What do you
Can't say
say?"
because she's crazy.
Yeah, so later that day, I talked to him and I said, "The brothers go to see their mom to spend time with her, like you do with your dad." And I said, "And I don't think your dad would want you taking the brothers to his house." And he's like, "Oh, man, I never thought about that. That'd be cool. I'm gonna ask him." I'm like, "Oh,
Oh
gosh."
gosh.
But no, it's like and so I know some people that the kids will go, that the bio kids go to the bio mom, you know what I'm saying, the ex's
Yeah.
house, and that's awesome if they can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but I was like, "No, she probably tried to kill you." That's what I thought in my head.
yeah, not not in this family.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, no, we're not doing that.
My stepson asked me one time if my son can come with him to his mom's house, and I was like, "No, that's not his mom."
Yep. Like, "No, I'm not going there." But it's hard for them to understand, it's hard for us to understand.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're doing great. I think that you recognizing that you need help is awesome.
Yeah.
What is one piece of advice that you would give someone that gets pregnant 3 months into a relationship? I'm kidding, I'm kidding,
Don't
I'm kidding.
don't do that.
Oh, girl, and please know I am not judging. I am
Oh,
not judging, no.
you're fine.
Yeah, because remember, I got knocked up out of wedlock too, so to the preacher son with the preacher son. Yeah, that's even better. I admire you and your partner for trying to make this work.
Honestly, as much as I love him, there are days that I feel like that, like, "Oh, I just wish I had gone and had my baby," but the way that my stepkids adore their little brother, that I could never take that away from them.
Yep.
They love him to pieces. My advice would be honestly, I am not a part of the Nacho Academy yet. I was for a minute. But I I throw Nacho at everything I see. Like, if I see somebody, a stepmom complaining on TikTok, I'm like, check out the Nacho Kids podcast. Like, because I truly believe that that is the best way to blend and not just not take the complications of the kids onto yourself and make
Yep,
it a part of your household.
right.
And uh, honestly, that would be my advice. Like, don't take those kids on as yours.
Yep. And you know what? That's my advice too.
Yeah. You've got a baby coming, focus on that one and
Yep.
don't
Put on your gift registry an annual membership to the Nacho Kids Academy.
exactly.
Put that on your baby registry. Hey, that's what we should do. Somehow get it on a baby registry or a wedding
Or a
registry.
wedding registry.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. That would be
smart.
funny. If someone would have told you about Nacho Kids when you first started this blended thing, would you been like, that's a bunch of horse crap?
No, I don't think I would. I know most people probably would have, but I was just so clueless about anything about a blended family. Like, I don't I didn't grow up in one. I don't have friends that grew up in one.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that you were supposed to love them like your own. I'm doing air quotes because this is audio,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't know that that's how people felt about it. So I probably would have been like, "Oh, okay, this is how I'm supposed to do it," because I didn't have any information.
Oh,
Um
yeah, yeah. But if you would have looked at it as an option,
yeah.
yeah, you would have looked at it as an option because you
Yeah.
didn't know that it was the complete opposite of what everybody else is telling
Of the
people to do.
expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I personally probably would have been like, "Oh, okay, sure, I'll try that." But I know most people going into it are like under the impression that you're supposed to take them on as your own
Mhm.
and love them as your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I honestly, I I talk about you guys so much. My sister just recently got separated from her husband and they have a son, and I was like, listen to this podcast. You're gonna need it in the future. I know it's a while down the road, but
Yeah,
just get
yeah.
started now.
Well, we appreciate you sharing the word, not just for us, but for the step parents.
For them, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're helping us, but you're helping them, which is more important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I wish everybody would just believe that that's the best thing
Mhm.
for the kids, not just for themselves, for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For everybody in the blend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Now the husbands might not think it's the best for them, but
Yeah. We're still working on that to, try to get the husbands or the bio parent, we'll
or
say,
the
in the
yeah.
relationship, whatever you wanna call them. It gets so convoluted trying to talk about it. But yeah, get them on board with, how they see that it's beneficial, which I know over time, the men usually do because they see their relationship strengthen with their kids.
And I will say just the little bit that I've been trying to detach with
Mhm.
my stepson. Actually, just yesterday, my boyfriend came home and me and my stepson were in the kitchen. I was cooking, and that's normally a very stressful time for us because I
I
have
know,
told
girl.
I have told my boyfriend and I have told the kids, if you guys can't help me with the 2-year-old while I'm cooking, I will not cook because he's at my feet. It's too difficult.
Yeah, you're gonna end up dropping something on his head.
Yeah, and he can reach the hot stove now.
Mhm.
Like, I need him to be kept out of the kitchen. And they usually, as much as they adore their brother, anytime they are forced to watch him, they don't
Uh-huh.
want to.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's usually a very stressful time for us cooking dinner. And my boyfriend came home the other night and he walked in and me and my stepson were in the kitchen just chit-chatting and goofing off and he was like, "Oh, it is so nice to come home to you guys liking each other." And I was like, "Yeah, it's cuz I didn't ask him to watch his brother. I
Mhm.
sent him down to my mom's house while I'm going to cook dinner. Like, I settled it without having to bring him into it." It
Yep.
so I think it's gonna be easier to get him on board with Nacho because he's already seeing examples of it benefiting him.
Yes. And that was one thing I was gonna say too is, unfortunately, a lot of times when a step parent approaches their partner and brings up the nacho thing, it's automatically taken negative as, "Oh, you don't love my kids. You hate my kids. You don't wanna be a family. Why did I even marry you if you don't want to be a part of this family?" I mean, just the whole thing. But if you can do it and not tell them, which I'm not saying lie. Don't think I'm saying lie because I don't lie. But if you start slowly stepping back, they'll be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, something's changed."
Mhm.
Now, granted, if you're stepping back from something they're gonna have to pick up, you've got to talk about those things. You can't just leave little Johnny at daycare all weekend or something, or, tell your partner that morning, "Oh, I'm not taking him to school anymore." No, you can't do that. But,
No.
there's things you can step back from that aren't affecting your partner as much, and it's more of sometimes an emotional step back.
Yeah.
Detaching emotionally. Like you said, how do I not show him when I'm with him all the time and he's here all the time and I'm basically mom? You kick into babysitter mode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, and my boyfriend, I'm sure he's put the pieces together because I I listen to your podcast while I'm showering. I listen to your podcast while I'm cooking. I listen to it in my car. So he knows I'm listening to this podcast called Nacho Kids. And I've told him like, "Hey, I haven't told him that I'm going to Nacho, but I've told him like I'm not doing any of the discipline for stepkid anymore. For
Mhm.
the boy. The girl, she allows it. I don't know if it's best for us if I do it or not, but
You'll figure it
she
out.
yeah, she
Yeah.
seems to take it better from me than from her dad.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
I'm gonna just continue to do that and see how it plays out with
Mhm.
us.
Yeah.
But I have told him, like, "That's 100% on you. I'm not gonna make him get off his games. I'm not gonna make him get off the TV. Like, that's all on you now."
Mm.
So, I think he knows, like, something is happening and he is hopefully seeing the benefit of it just in that one interaction yesterday where he's like, "Oh my gosh, they're getting along when I got home."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, what did he say? Or I was gonna ask you, what did he say when you told him that? Like, I'm not gonna tell him to get off his games anymore. I'm not gonna do this because it causes us to fight. It's too stressful.
He was on board with it. He was like, "Yeah, I think that's probably good."
Good. Good.
Yeah.
It's good to have their support instead of their pushback. I wish more men would be involved when people do join the academy. We've actually had a few show up and go, I just wanted to see what this was about because I think it's a bunch of crap. And then, of course, once we talk to them for even 15 minutes, they're like, oh, wait a minute.
I just listened to an episode yesterday. It was a couple that he was like kicked back in the chair drinking a beer during the first one he sat in on. But and then in the podcast, he was like all for it.
Yep. I know exactly who you're talking about. Well,
It's like,
thank you so much for being a guest and sharing your story and letting other stepmoms know that they are not alone.
yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
It's been great.
Yeah, here too.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. And remember that life is good.
And it really is when you nacho.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nacho Kids Podcast. Find us online at nachokids.com. Until next time, remember, life is good when you nacho.